We all watched Leon, and then he went out with like a 15-year-old and was like, "Oh, I didn't. You know, I defended the subtext of Leon, but I don't know now." It's funny because like Slug Life was one of the very first big special songs that we wrote. Like, it was still one of the ones that was just written on acoustic guitar, and yeah, like with these singles and stuff, it's just us like going through the favorite of our songs that we didn't get to use or it didn't like fit on the two albums because we ended up writing a lot of stuff for the second album in the studio, which kind of like become the priority. Um, and we want to go away and like just like and get writing again with a blank canvas and that rather than and drawing off we'd already done. So we just wanted to like get together some of our favorite stuff and like finish it all off and recontextualize it to where we are now and stuff and like make a thing out of them and get them out like there's no point in just letting it gather dust forever.
Most of them are really old. There's a couple that nearly made it onto the second album, but as
Mm.
we always write like mad, but because we always try to write to an album rather than we never really just bother with singles or anything. We always try to think of things in a broader picture. But we still love these tunes, and we spent weeks on some of them. And
Yeah.
they've just been gathering dust in the background just because they didn't fit the larger image. But as like they've been recontextualized with the time as well. Like we've had 2 years of touring, we've had 4 or 5 years since some of these songs were first written. Lives completely different, and that the context of the song that we wrote, we're looking at it from a whole different perspective now.
We did a lot of demos for the first album, but again, it's like we try and just stick with what sounds good. So a lot of the first album has some of the very first bits that were made on the demo, like on there and stuff, and mixed with Mike, our producers, like high production stuff and that. We never wanted to just like re-record everything for the sake of like if it sounded good and was done in the moment, like then keep it there. It's our job to get it all together. It's just not about deleting everything and redoing it at like a higher quality. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff off the first album that was done with like musical typing on the computer and that, you know what I mean? Not even had a MIDI keyboard or anything.
There's some vocals on it that were through the mic on your Mac as well.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
even through
yeah.
like some backing vocals on it that were just like from the demo. I mean, on that first album, I seem to remember we ended up having a rule where it was like if we want to have something from the demo, at least one thing has to end up on the finished product because it felt like a real like transitional thing.
Yeah.
But that whole album started in lockdown, so there was like a sense of demoing, but it was
Mm.
really just layering and layering and layering more than anything. Like Joe would send me something back and forth. But yeah, both albums were written like completely differently. I mean,
Mhm.
such a different experience, different positioning. Like but yeah, there wasn't any demos for album two. But actually, I guess you could sort of call them jams, the demos in a way. Album two,
Yeah.
we sat in a room, we got all the synths set up and guitars, basses, and drums, and we just like spent hours and hours and hours bouncing around, recording everything, just jamming random instrumentations, and then going back to the recordings and finding the samples that we liked out of it.
That's what we've done forever, like when we was kids, and that was like just, even though we're big specialists, so not an improvised band, like when we get it on stage and that we can't improvise anything really because it's locked into the track and that. But what we do is always we've been improvisers, like, and jamming and stuff. That's like the joy of playing, like, for me is when we get in a room and just make a noise.
In terms of the moment that we knew that this might be a career, we've also got the exact same one, which was on our, we just put the album out. And it was mad getting signed. We got so lucky how we got signed. Like, we hadn't even done 10 gigs and the label picked us up and it was a real out of nowhere sort of story. And the album was coming out, the singles were all great and we were having them on the radio and stuff. And these are all great moments. But when we were playing our first tour, for the album, we played in Manchester at Deaf Institute. It's like a little 250 cap room, and on stage, just like everyone screaming the lyrics back at us. I remember there was a proper moment we just stopped, and it was before Trees.
Yeah, it was before we started it, yeah. And they did the whole chorus before we started.
Yeah, at least they sang the whole chorus before it even started the tune. They knew it was the song that we hadn't played yet. Like we clapped that people that knew shit about our music. Like actually, it wasn't just a room full of 200 randomers. It was like fucking hell, like people actually are resonating with this is resonating with people, and
Mm.
people are responding to this. And I think that was like we'd already had a fire under our arse, like, but after that, I think we both felt the weight of it after that. Like, okay,
I
this
felt like
could,
it, yeah, defo.
this was
It's
the start of it.
even before that, it was as stuff was coming together and the sound and like starting to do the spoken word and use my actual accent and stuff and like get over some of like the lack of confidence stuff. It was like, it felt like, and me and Cal coming back together and playing together after 10 years because, we both never wanted to stop playing together. It was just like, life and work and all that sort of shit. And, yeah, it felt like, oh yeah, like we needed 16 years of stepping stones so we could get to make this. And, yeah, and then just like stuff like that, the Deaf Institute just like going like, confirmed. It was like, oh fuck yeah, we were right, we were right to stick with this and do this. It's all coming together. It's all going to plan. I swear, like I don't know because we're older or like the background we're from and that, but like we don't argue. We all have down days and that, but we give each other space and that, and it's like I don't know. I think we're both just like aware that this all comes from our friendship and our relationship and our history and that, and it's like. It's just sound like I hear it all the time. Even last night, I was talking to a friend in a band, like talking about all the arguments and the discomfort and that between people. And yeah, we can never join in the conversation. Like we get on really well.
It's
We-
surprising to be honest. Like I don't I love being in a two piece because the people management house, like hearing that same conversation you're on about, Joe, bandmates arguing and stuff. So can't imagine wanting to do this is already emotional enough as it is. Imagine doing it with people you don't get on with.
Yeah,
Yeah, we spent more time in the last 2 3 years, together than I've spent with my family and my missus, and we've come out the other side of it closer than ever. This is actually, we're growing up. I was in Birmingham, Joe was in Warsaw. Now we've both moved down to Bristol, and this is the first time we live in the same postcode.
yeah,
And it's like having my brother live around the corner. It's nice. Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm shocked. I didn't think anyone could stand me for this long, but we're doing all right.
Yeah. I don't know. I could stand you for this long.
Hey.
But no, it's really good, man. It's really nice. Like it is a relationship, and there's only two people in Big Special, and so you share a thing that you'll never share, with the other closest people in your life, and it should be maintained. It should never be a competition. You should lift each other up, like in a relationship. You got to be a team and encourage each other, man, to be good in the band and outside the band. Just in life and that. I imagine it would be really hard if you're not friends with the people and all that sort of stuff, or do have like some sort of like discomfort with them. But
Well, it seems to be going all right for Oasis, doesn't it? They fucking hate each other, and they're making absolute bank
yeah,
ripping off all their fans.
yeah, we need more. We need more. We need some beef.
Yeah, we should kick off with it. But I tell you what, it's like a new age thing though, and it like all of our mates, everyone who's coming on this next UK tour, like all the people we hang out with, they're in two pieces now. I think it's not just I think it's a sign of the times of like you know
That,
people can't afford to have that many people,
yeah,
like, but also I think from a viewer's standpoint, like from the audience member. Like I remember growing up loving the Libertines because it was the fucking relationship between Carl and Pete. I think throughout history, bands, it's the character, it's the brotherly love, the brotherly feud, whatever it is. People
yeah.
like seeing the connect. People like seeing a human connection, and
And it's all real. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the thing as well. People just know what's real and know what isn't, subconsciously. And when we're out there and we look at each other on stage and just share that look of like, oh fucking hell, we're doing this. It's like it's real every time. We got to 30 years old. He was a van driver, I was a labourer, and all that sort of shit in it. So it's still it's still just fucking mad. You know what I mean? I'm a massive film fan. Like movies are the love of my life, like, you know. And we were really busy around that time, and then we had to go and do the video. We were going down in the car, and we had like the sheet, like the day sheet or whatever. And I was reading it, and it said director Ben Wheatley. And I looked up, I was like, fuck. I was like, what the fuck? I'm about to go and fucking meet Ben Wheatley and like be directed by Ben Wheatley. What the fuck, man? It's like Field in England's one of my favourite movies. Sightseers, one of my favourite movies. I've loved Ben Wheatley forever. Like I remember watching Kill List on my old portable fucking TV, like with the disc in my fucking PS2, and it was like the first like weird kind of dark film that I'd ever like. I had to Google right after I watched it. Like, you know, it's like the first. It like brought me into like weird cinema and shit, and like falling in love with that stuff. So Ben Wheatley is like a massive like geezer for me. Like I was really like starstruck to meet him and that. And yeah, just since then, like, as we left on the day, I was like, Ben, you're gonna do one of our fucking music videos one of the days. Thinking like, I'm getting in with you, kid. Oh, Leon's one of my faves. He's dodgy geezer though. But
So I'm a fashion icon for this entire band, Leon.
we all watched Leon, and then he went out with like a 15-year-old and was like, "Oh, I didn't. You know, I defended the subtext of Leon, but I don't know now." Um, uh, it's Paul Thomas Anderson for me. I think he's made some class fucking music videos as well. He did some for Joanna Newsom. He did a video called for a song called Diver or Divers. The album's Diver. I don't know, but anyway, it's really good. I love Joanna Newsom as well.
10 gigs in the various rooms of the Institute in Birmingham. And all of them have, up until this point, have been absolutely terrible, to be honest. This is like through our young career playing in the Birmingham scene. Big Special has never played there. And yes, first time we like played the big main room, sold out home show, biggest home show we've ever done that one. So that's going to be
Yeah.
like a proper internal victory. That I think
That's the place I've been to the most gigs at, you know, to go and see
yeah,
people. And we've, you know, and it weren't sold out then, you know, so it's like we've sold it out, and that feels really cool.
yeah,
The
it's a big personal victory, that one.
the Manchester one as well. I always forget the name. The Hall,
New Century Hall.
New Century Hall. Yeah, so we've supported there a couple of times, and we supported Anthony Schmerick there, and he had it sold out. So we've seen what it's like from the stage to see that place sold out, but we've sold it out now. So I think I don't know. Yeah, that's the one that stuck in my head when we sold that out, because I've seen a sold out crowd there. I was like, oh fuck, as if we've done that in Manchester. I've only ever been to Manchester like 3 times. You know what I mean? We've like sold out New Century Hall.
Yeah, it's
And,
massive.
yeah, because New Century Hall was rebuilt, wasn't it? Like all the insides of it used to be somewhere else. And apparently,
Mm,
like in the old version, like Hendrix played there and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, you know, that's pretty fucking cool.
yeah, definitely. We've got a couple of the tours that we've got booked in, but there's a good big patch in the middle of it that we're just gonna scurry away. 9 to 5 it in the studio, sort of. It's the first time in our lives because even album two was in between working, i.e., touring. Album one was in between like normal job working. I think this will be the first time that writing the album will be our job for a longer period of time. So that's going to be fucking sick. Just
I'm
like,
very excited for that. We're trying to get a lock up. Like I've never had a lock up, and it's like
uh,
we're gonna have our little office, then, you know, and like you say, yeah, get up, go 9 to 5, it, and like go to work, but go and do our thing, you know. So
really
I'm
excited for that.
excited to go and do that. We're gonna get more guitar in there and stuff, and I'm gonna get the guitar on stage a bit more. So we,
That's the shredder.
yeah, we don't come to it, do we, with a lot of like plans or bullet points of what to do, but like the one thing we know we're doing is guitar on stage for more stuff. So yeah, we're just gonna go into the room with that in mind and just like see what we do.